Hello, everyone, and welcome to part six of our POV Beyond the Degree series presented by We Are Made. This is finale night, and I want to start by saying it has been such an incredible honor to create this series alongside my amazing team and a variety of inspiring panelists and community partners. The past 6 months of this series have been monumental. We've covered everything from platforms to community, trends to burnout, creativity, and now we're ending with networking. And no matter if this is your first session or you are a returning guest from the We Are Made team, we want to thank you for choosing to be here. Now, on with the program. If you're new here, my name is Imani, and I'm the founder of We Are Made and your host and moderator for today's conversation. If you don't know, We Are Made is on a mission to help the next generation bet on themselves. And today's session, like I mentioned before, is all about networking. Now, I don't know about you, but as an introvert, I had to develop my own relationship with connecting to others. And between moments where I felt awkward for speaking to strangers, to the other moments where I felt like I was the only person in the room, tonight is dedicated to showing you just how easy and intentional networking has the ability to become. And with a topic such as this, you know we had to do it justice by picking amazing panelists from strong, diverse backgrounds that require sharing their gifts across industries to truly be successful. So, up first, we have Nyasia Rudolph. She is the founder of Network While Black, a community and platform redefining how women of color connect. Her passion for turning proximity into power is changing the landscape of what networking not only looks like, but feels like. And she's here to take our connecting game from transactional to transformational. Welcoming to the stage, Nyasia. Thank you for coming. So, next up, we have Patty Lora. She is the founder of Crew, a culture first staffing agency that connects brands with talent in the sports and entertainment industry. She is an expert in event operations who is passionate about elevating diverse voices and giving underrepresented dreamers an opportunity to be a part of a movement beyond their wildest dreams, truly redefining the event industry to not only be more efficient, but also inclusive. Thank you, Patty, for coming. So, I am so excited for today's conversation. We're going to jump right in with our very first question. When it comes to building out your network, how do you actually decide where to show up? When you guys were thinking about networking and creating your own different platforms and companies, where did you go besides creating your own at first? And then also, how did you actually position yourself to show up in rooms not only in person, but then also find spaces online?
I'll jump in there. That's an amazing few questions there. The one thing I wanted to kind of hyper focus on alignment is just not only alignment, but kind of understand my resource map. So, where are the people, like where are my resources at right now? And then where do I want to take that? And then how could I add value? So I remember in my early 20s, LeBron had just signed with the Heat, and my mind was like, that's it. I'm working in sports and this is my ticket. And I was like, he's coming to me, you know what I mean? At that point, I was like, there is no if, ands, or buts. I'm working in sports and this is my way to it. And I did not waver from that. So there was a certainty when I got into certain rooms. Events is obviously how I got into sports. I actually was a brand ambassador for an agency that now, about 14 years later, today's my client. So
Oh,
I
wow.
always remained connected, and it was always, to answer your question, me being interested, truly interested in what they were building and what they were doing, and then figuring out a way to add value. Ask questions, be curious, I think was probably my number one thing early in my career with networking. I was just curious and interested, which when you lead with that, you always find yourself in more interesting conversations, you know. I believe.
I
I
believe
agree.
too.
Yeah.
I agree. I would say for me, I started joining a lot of different clubs, a lot of different social clubs.
Mm.
Oh,
Um, I really wanted to understand like to your point, the resources that I have, how can I build this? Because when I first started, I didn't know anything about networking. I moved to New York the day after my graduation, and I was literally just like, all right, I knew I wanted to be a stylist. I didn't know where to go, what resources. I cold emailed so many people, so many stylists, and two people got back to me, and they were both women. And that's how I was able to get my start. And as far as community building, I was, like I said, I was going to different events. I was seeing what worked, what didn't work. I was taking bits and pieces from my surroundings. So I would definitely, can you tell me the last part of the question? I want to make sure that I'm answering it
Where
correctly.
do you go? Because a lot of people are, of course, like going to different events, but they're also asking, like, hey, like, what are some in-person places as well as some online spaces that I can actually go to and attend?
Okay. So to be honest, LinkedIn was my
Yeah,
best friend.
LinkedIn is
Hello.
that.
LinkedIn was my best
You're
friend.
not sponsored.
I will email, I will DM it with a quickness. You utilize that free LinkedIn, what is it, premium? You
Yep.
got 30 days. Utilize it. Utilize it. I'm telling you, because don't be ashamed to go in people's DMs.
Yeah.
I'm a DMer when it comes to Instagram as well. Just putting yourself out there. A lot of times we feel like, oh, we're gonna bother someone, or, we don't know the right things to say.
Yeah.
It's trial and error.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I
absolutely.
definitely agree. Thank you for bringing up LinkedIn. I think LinkedIn gets a bad rep, and people just assume that it's like the worst place. Everyone's only talking about their achievements, but I've actually found amazing communication when it comes to LinkedIn. I know it's a virtual space, so people are weird. I know everyone wants to be together, but sometimes we're not in the most popping cities. I'm in
Hmm.
the capital of Florida. I'm gonna tell you, ain't nothing happening here, baby. Nothing is popping off, but I love that you talked about using what you have around you. And if that means that you slide into someone's DM, you never know that could position you guys or any of us to actually be in a position where we can go somewhere else. Maybe you can get invited to an event. Maybe you can get invited to a different state, a little conference, honey. Like I would love to attend different things just because people just care enough to ask me. And I found majority of those opportunities on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't sleep on LinkedIn.
But hello, it's not for old people, okay?
It's not.
Millennials here.
She's
It's
that
not.
girl. She's that girl.
Okay, listen. So, a lot of people look outside of themselves for a lot of the answers, and I want to redefine what networking looks like when it comes to actually embodying what you also do offer. So, when
Mhm.
it comes to that, at what point in your personal experiences professionally did you recognize, like, listen, yeah, sure, I'm networking, but I also bring something to the table. And even though maybe you guys were probably nervous in some spaces, how did you actually shift the energy about the way that you moved in different rooms when it came to offering the gifts that you guys actually already possess?
That's a great question. I would say for myself, it came with time
Mm.
and actually doing.
Yeah.
When I was a stylist, I remember, I would be in certain rooms and like, oh, I'm Nyasia Rudolph and I'm a stylist. Like I would just lead with that. And depending on the room, some people would be impressed, others would be like, oh, okay. Like it really took time and growing in my craft
Yeah.
to finally feel like, oh, this is what I do, or to not even lead with my career choice as well. Like so, I'm Nyasia Rudolph and I am a founder. Just really just leading with what I like to do versus my career, because I realized that a lot of times I was letting my career define who I was.
Mm.
um, and that was a big thing. Oh, child, that was a huge thing. So yeah, it definitely took time. Especially I'm in my early 30s. In my 20s, I couldn't have given this advice because I was all in my head and I'm like, all right, well, I'm a stylist and I hope they think that's impressive, and it comes with time. Everybody that's in their 20s right now, you don't have to have it all figured out. All
Mhm.
these answers, they're not going to come right away. Just time comes with trusting yourself. So that's probably my biggest advice.
Woo, spoke to me, girl.
Yeah, no, I mean, you were definitely speaking to me, absolutely, especially in your 20s. For me, like I said, I'm born and raised in Miami, and really hyper focused on my city. And I do think that gave me confidence, as in it was a lot of athletes and different entities that were coming to Miami. And I think I really owned of whether it was blind confidence or not. I was like, y'all my territory. You know what I mean? It was like that kind of like energy. And
Mm.
sometimes I don't want to say fake it till you make it, but it was a little me faking it till I made it for me inside. But always being a learner and always understanding that I am at the stage where I am figuring my craft. And you never stop being a student, right? But I do think in your early 20s, there needs to be a certain like almost how you guys would hype up your girls
Hmm.
and your best friend. You need to kind of hype up yourself, kind of
Yeah.
walking into certain opportunities, and then just know there are no opportunities missed. Like if something doesn't work out, it's a lesson learned. And if it does work out, great, you get to the next stepping stone. But it really isn't until really like your mid 30s that you start to kind of have that true confidence of like, okay, wait, I know exactly what it is and what I offer. I could articulate it, I could articulate strongly, but kind of allowing yourself to go through that process and enjoy that journey.
I appreciate this feedback, guys, because like, you ever look back in your 20s and you're like, oh, I don't know nothing. I did not know anything. I
Hmm.
think we have this idea about like where we should be and like why don't we ever arrive? Like why aren't we arriving yet? And I always like to say the experience is what actually builds your confidence. Fail
Yeah,
enough, be rejected enough, have people look down on you enough. I promise you, I don't have Miami energy, I have Florida energy,
there
but
you
it's
go.
something about it that makes you feel like, yeah, I may not be my best yet, but this is only the beginning and I'm here and we're both here. So what does that actually say about us? We're
Hmm.
actually more in alignment than we actually think. And
Yeah.
speaking of like missed opportunities, Patty, you like really led us into the next question. um, a lot of people don't realize when they don't want to leave their house. I'm guilty of it. When they don't want to leave their house and they lean into being an introvert so much, they don't realize how many missed opportunities are actually taking place. Can you guys actually speak to what it actually felt like to finally give yourselves permission to either ask for what you want when it came to networking, or even just to position yourself to not miss out on something just because you were scared to ask for it?
Mm.
I could probably quickly jump in here. That's cool. For me, it's the mentality. I do want to jump in a little bit what you said before.
Yeah.
Um, on the idea of like of all or nothing, right?
Mm.
So I told for one, I regret in my 20s that I stopped doing things that I wasn't good at. If I wasn't naturally good at something in my 20s, I would just not do it. And
Mm.
then I wish someone was like, girl, you're not supposed to be good. You're 22. There's a
Yeah.
lot of things you're not going to be good at, right? So I would say that to like my younger like self or anyone in their like mid 20s, even late 20s. If you find yourself semi interested in something, but you're naturally just not good at it, lean into that. Now is the time to lean into that.
Mm.
The second part of kind of going to your question of missed opportunities and being an introvert, I changed my mindset on that of like it's not all or nothing. I am actually very extroverted. I enjoy socializing. Recharge around people, but
Sure.
naturally, you burnout is a real thing, especially the founders know that. So I just gave myself permission that like just because I'm an extrovert doesn't mean I need to be at everything. And just because I'm an introvert doesn't mean I need to like decide to stay home. You could pick on like what you're willing to do in this season that you're in and just decide, maybe you don't go, I'm using like socials, like maybe you don't go to like the festival rage, right? But you could kind of go to a bar, a dive-in bar or whatnot. You could kind of like pick and choose what you're willing to do at this stage and then just tell yourself like this is the season I'm at and I don't have to do all or nothing. So just wanted to make those 2 points.
I like that. I agree. And for me, I am an introvert, and I love my bed. I love to stay home. I love a good book, some wine and a little Netflix. Love it. That's a good time for me. And the problem is, if you don't leave your house, you won't meet people.
Big problem.
Hate that for
And
us.
I've had to learn that the hard way. It's like, I'm getting invited to events and like, oh, this sound cool. I'm the friend that if you text me last minute and you don't want to go, I'm secretly happy that we're not going, which is crazy because I have a networking platform, but this is who I am. So for me, it's all about setting many goals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I've come to the realization that I'm never gonna be the one that, gets there first and leaves, the last one to leave. I want to set a goal. All right, nah, you're gonna meet two people.
Mm.
Two people, you're gonna make good connections. Cool. You have your two people, you have your drink. Now, check in with yourself. Are you ready to go, or can you stay an extra hour? What do you want to do? Continuously checking with yourself.
Yeah.
Everybody, you do not have to meet every single person in that room.
Yeah.
You don't have to. Get you 1 to 3 good connections and give yourself permission to go home.
Yeah.
You did the work. You
Did
did the
it?
work. You were productive. You got out. You met more people than you would have if you stayed home. Okay? It nothing beats a face-to-face interaction. And then when you get home, you know, you simmer down and then you can talk to them online. Hey, it was great meeting you. You can follow up with them. Like I
Yeah.
said, face-to-face interaction works better. That person that you wanted to meet all along, you got to meet them. Now it's not really a cold email or a cold DM. They recognize your face like, oh, this was the nice person that I met at the bar. Cool.
Yeah.
There you go. But you got to know yourself, right? When that check engine light come on,
Yeah.
it's okay to go home. I'm not gonna steer you wrong. So yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
give yourself permission to go home. You just
yes.
set me free. I'm not gonna pick three people. I'm pick two. That sounds good. I like that, and I agree with it too because I feel when you see somebody else who is like a social butterfly, a piece of you is like, why am I not embodying all of this? And I look at those people, I'm like, oh, this is great. I don't have that in me.
Mm-mm.
Don't have not even an inch of it. I also love my bed. Okay, and then you don't even have to cancel the plans. I'm not even gonna reach out. I'm gonna wait for you to reach out to me. I don't hear from you. I took it as a part. God has said we should rest
Mm-hmm.
on this Friday. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? That's the way I take it. But I think it's so incredibly powerful that you give yourself a goal. I never thought about it that way. I'm just so used to professional environments where like everyone stays all night. What do you
Mm-mm.
mean? Because God forbid you go home early, they're going to ask you, where are you going?
Mhm.
And I'm going to give myself permission to go to my bed.
Go to bed.
Nothing
Yes.
else aligned.
You did the work. Yeah.
I did the work. She said I can go to bed, guys. Okay. Thank you for being here. So when it comes to networking, no one talks about the emotional toll that it actually takes on you. And I'll explain what I mean by that. When you're rejected, when you give out your number, when you socialize like everyone tells you to, when no one follows back with you even after you've reached out to them, when people aren't answering your DMs or they're leaving you on red, it is another form and representation of like a feeling of rejection. And
Mhm.
so many people are turned off by attempting to make connection simply because is it worth it? Is it going to be reciprocated? Am I going to feel, worthy enough to keep attempting? What advice do you guys actually have for the audience who is struggling in the same position with rejection or fear that no one will look out for them or be as authentic as them? And how can they stay resilient during that time?
I'll take this one. Um, so I remember my senior year of Howard, I was looking at different internships. I wanted to work for a magazine, loved Nylon Down,
Mhm.
wanted to work for Nylon, got rejected. I was reaching out to different stylists, like, hey, I really admire your work. Are you looking for an assistant? No responses, and it crushed me. It really, really crushed me. And then years later, I became a stylist, and people were reaching out to me, DMing me. And I'm gonna be honest, I didn't answer every DM. I'm gonna be completely honest. I didn't answer every DM. I didn't answer every email. I answered some, but I didn't answer all of them. And to that point, I will say especially as a freelancer, work is so up and down. It's so like, 1 minute you're on top, the next minute you don't know when you're gonna work again.
Mm,
So, I had people DMing me, because Instagram looked good, I'm posting my work, but that was shot 3 months ago. I don't
yeah.
know when I'm gonna work again, So it was like, I was like, is that how people were feeling when I was DMing them?
Oh,
And because as a stylist, you're not working in corporate America. You're a contractor.
yeah.
So I'm like, I was probably reaching out to people asking, can I be their assistant? And they was figuring out when their next job was gonna be. You know
Mm,
what I mean? So I definitely try to give people grace.
Yeah.
And I will also say when it comes to cold DMing and emailing, it's a numbers game.
mm.
It's a numbers game. You have to go for it full throttle. And you kind of have to forget that you even messaged that person. I don't want to say don't expect a response back. I would never say that, but it's definitely a numbers game. Like you have to some people because I'll read a DM or like I'll open a DM and then I'll come back to it 3 days later and I'll answer it. Like I'm not good at communication, guys. But but that's one of my flaws. But um I really think it's just a numbers game, definitely. Because not everybody is gonna answer you. And
Yeah.
I don't want that to discourage you from, reaching out to people. It's kind of like applying to jobs.
Mm.
The more you apply, the higher your chances are. Oh, I hope I didn't sound cold.
No, that was a
That's
word.
yeah.
That was a word. You did great.
Yeah, yeah, that was amazing. On my end, I would just get really comfortable with rejection. You
Mhm.
know, it's almost best to like sit in that discomfort and let it pass. Then, to her point, if someone just doesn't respond to you, I mean, as for me, I would rather someone respond and just say like, don't need this role right now. Thanks for reaching out. I'll keep you in mind. But I do events, so the really like the core of my business is finding opportunities so I could hire other people. So people are always reaching out for me to book them, whether that's staff or MCs or DJs. And I try really hard. I can't all the time for everyone. So to her point, sometimes there is just so much other factors that have nothing to do with you. If you don't hear back from someone that you reached out and you were really excited to send that email, just know that your intentions are good and rejection is a part of it. And the truth of the matter is rejection's a part of life overall,
Yeah.
which again, I hope I don't sound cold, but going back to like setting goals for yourself, I always used to tell myself like I want a big life. I want a big life. I come from nothing. We're immigrants and we are learning what to build, what we want. And the truth is, the sacrifices that it takes to get to that big life is gonna cost me rejection. So when that rejection comes, just know, what do they say? Like every rejection is a redirection. It's just bringing me to a yes, a closer yes, closer to my yes. So that's my mindset around it. I would definitely work on like, your relationship with rejection.
Work on
I
your
agree.
relationship with rejection. Whew. Mm,
And
okay.
that goes for networking too. You might meet someone that you thought was like a big fish that was gonna do one, two, three.
Yeah.
We create these stories in our head, and
Hmm.
then they like go ghost or they're not capable. But just get comfortable in that discomfort and that disappointment. And the disappointment's real, feel that, but just get comfortable in it.
I agree. And what Patty said, like Patty said, it is not you.
Yeah, it's not.
I
Yeah.
want y'all to get out your head like, oh, maybe they didn't like me. I thought
Hmm.
usually
No.
9 times out of 10, it has nothing to do with you. They had something going on. It has nothing to do with you.
Yeah. I
So
would.
I would say don't internalize it.
Yep. There you go. Don't internalize it for sure.
That's the perfect way to round it out. Don't internalize it. I think that we get incredibly nervous when someone doesn't respond and we equate that as a measurement of our worth. And I think we confuse that with, wow, that person, was busy, or that person maybe didn't even see. I get so many DMs and even on LinkedIn, and I'm not old. I be acting old, but I'm not. But next thing you know, it's in a request folder. I'm not looking in the request folder. Like I had no idea that it
Same.
existed. So I'm responding like, oh my God, I'm so late. And then, but you have to understand, especially when you get extremely busy, they're not rejecting you. They're not rejecting your project. They don't know you. They
Mhm.
don't know you. So I would definitely agree with the not internalizing it advice. You have to find a way to get comfortable with that rejection. And also remember that you can also hold space for new opportunities. The rejection is your protection. I've had people reject me over and over again, and I found someone or an opportunity even greater. And just imagine if that person you thought was like the Mecca is awful to work with. Okay.
Mm.
Yep.
You understand what I'm saying? Okay.
Been there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
Hmm.
Been
Okay, we go
there.
talk after. But they're not what you think they are, and then you've wasted that space and capacity working with them when you could have been working with someone who saw your value, understood what you brought to the table, and would position you well enough to actually be able to get other opportunities following this. So the rejection is your protection is an absolute gift because it's not you and it's not about you when it comes to people rejecting you. And I'm so happy that you guys gave people permission to be human. We can feel the feels, but don't stay there.
Hmm.
Just don't stay there because you end up looking at people in the same light. When the next person, it could be completely different. It's kind of like dating. Like this
I was
might
gonna
not
say
be
that.
the
I don't
Yeah,
person.
like
I
dating.
agree.
Yeah,
Get
no, this might
comfortable
be
with
a person.
rejection, you know?
It's fine.
And it redirects you to the right person, you know?
Exactly. See, Patty, you understand up and down. You understand. So I want to talk about the across the niches. How would you guys suggest that people move into the motion of actually networking with people who are not in their industry that could have some sense of a connection to something that they also want to get involved in? This could be them trying to direct themselves into a whole new career, pivoting, but then also like Patty, like you do events, you need a variety of different people. You need a variety of different socials. How do you actually create that different level of a bond?
I find something to connect with them on. I think kind of going back to like the core of a lot of what we're saying, there is a lot of similarities, whether, obviously especially online, we like to put things in buckets. But the truth of the matter is, like when I worked at the front office for the Miami Marlins, I mean, there were people who didn't know anything about sports, but they were really good at accounting, and they found an accounting job for this professional baseball team. And so I would start there. I actually my first business was in fitness, which I know fitness and sports has some similarities, but kind of finding that common thread, there is always some level of overlap. And if you don't know what it is at first, now going back to what I said before, you could be curious. Be curious about their industry, and then something's gonna like click where you kind of see some level of overlap, and you could kind of talk to that, and then build that authentic connection with that person that you're trying to get into their industry.
Beautiful. Find that through line and just use it as a way to be an entry point for what you want to get into. Perfect.
I agree. I would say look for different events and conferences for that specific industry, that you're looking to break into. I stayed on Eventbrite. Again, LinkedIn.
Yeah.
LinkedIn, when I was looking for clients for my personal styling business, I was adding everybody.
Mm,
Everybody. I was adding lawyers, I was adding doctors. Um, and when you do get into that room with different people,
Yeah.
my favorite thing, start off with a compliment.
yep.
Compliment their shoes, compliment something, find something that you like on them, and be
Yeah.
authentic. Don't just tell them you like their shirt when you don't like their shirt. Like, be authentic. Um, but yeah, and then like Patty said, find like commonalities. You'd be surprised what you have in common with different people.
And no matter the industry, it's always something. Someone needs marketing, needs finance, finance
Mhm.
needs marketing. And it may not sound as sexy to connect across industries, but at some point, whether you're going to use it professionally or even personally, somebody has something that you need to get to the next level and vice versa. So they have something to offer and so do you. So really dive into positioning yourself in that alignment and that comfortability on finding something that relates to you both is actually also, I agree, that positions you very well to make that pivot or even, I don't know, just get yourself into something else that you're just curious about, going back to staying curious. Research them, do your research because a lot of the times people know exactly what you need. They're just waiting for you to ask or be
Yeah,
bold enough to ask. And a lot of us are thinking, like, no, we can't. But yes, yes,
You
everyone needs
can.
a lawyer.
Yeah. It's
Okay?
true.
Everybody needs a lawyer. So you never
yeah,
know who you need and just ask and just see what happens. The worst they can tell you is no. And then everyone survives. You know what I mean?
Everybody, you will live to see another day.
Amen. So I'm going to ask a very unconventional question, and I think it's important that we touch on this. Sure, we want to network, we want to support, we want to help everyone. And if you're anything like me, if I know what you're working on, honey, within 5 minutes, I'm going to connect you to somebody who I think would be very impactful, or I'm going to tell you about somebody that either I've studied or I'm interested in, a book or whatever, some level of a resource, and I'm going to connect you, but with that being said, we also, a lot of us feel the need to protect our network. Network is all about reputation, relationships that you have echoed and fed and prospered into for years and months and so forth. And you don't want to ruin that because you've connected them with someone who just asked you to help them get connected. How do you guys actually support and protect the ecosystem that you guys have willfully built on your own, while also creating some space where other people could feel, still feel supported? I know.
go for it, girl. I'm gonna let you take it.
So here's the thing, right? You have to vet people. You
Hmm.
have to vet people and you have to set boundaries because, you know, I'm trying to be as politically correct as possible. You don't want people embarrassing you.
Ooh.
All right. You've worked too hard for
Hmm.
your network. You work too hard for your reputation,
Talk to
especially when it comes to industries and your career, your reputation
it.
is what precedes you. You don't want anything to, to ruin that. So I would say definitely vet the person. You can still give resources without giving them the whole playbook.
Yeah.
There's still resources out there like, hey, like you said, I know this book or, I know this person who's a friend of this person. Um, you can give bits and pieces without giving the whole pie. Definitely you have to know who you're working with.
Mm-hmm.
You have to stand firm. Don't let anybody guilt trip you or make you feel like,
Mm.
you owe them anything because you don't.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you
Mm-hmm.
don't. You don't know nobody.
And yeah, just I would definitely say my biggest thing is boundaries. Boundaries. And I've had to learn that over the years. And I know we have like a lot of 20-something-year-olds in here. So, in your 20s, your boundaries tend to teeter-totter. And that's okay. That's okay. You're learning. But don't let anybody guilt you into doing something that you're not comfortable with. Okay? Because I don't know, Peter, he's looking for a job in IT and you know somebody, but you know that Peter not a good worker.
Mm.
Don't go and don't refer Peter. Don't refer Pete because he gonna get you. Now people gonna look at you like you crazy. So
Right.
yeah, um, I feel like I'm rambling, but don't do that.
Good.
Stand firm. Yeah.
No, I mean I just echo everything she said. My process, I mean again, I have my live events business, but in order for you to work for me, you have to work on the event. Like I have to see how you are doing in a very high pressure situation.
Yeah.
Whether that's like and we say like, I could book you for Super Bowl or NBA All-Star and that sounds sexy, but we all know in those moments it's work.
Hmm.
It's a lot of work. And
For
so,
sure.
yeah, now I literally have a system in place. So cool, you want to be on board with me? It's gonna take you going through this system. And that comes whether you're referred or not. Now I need to see you perform really. And that kind of like to her point, that came with time. I think before, I think I even built crew because I enjoy giving people opportunities. But the truth of the matter is, people will always try you. People always try it. They will always try
Hey.
it,
Yeah.
And you have to have those boundaries in place just to protect yourself and just know you're not, at least for me, I used to feel like I was a bad person if I wasn't helping Peter. But the
Mhm.
truth of the matter is, there are so many other people that I'm protecting and building this thing for, and that
Yeah.
they're showing up to work on time. They're being curious about the industry as it changes and the evolution post-pandemic. They're doing their research, that I'm building crew for them. I'm not
Mm.
building crew for Peter because he's showing up an hour late or not showing up at all for the job. So I have to protect those people over that. So that's
Absolutely.
that's what kind of justifies me into my boundaries.
You
Woo!
can't take everybody with you.
You can't take everybody with
I
you
have
in
a pair
every
of
stage of life.
Yeah. And I agree, like the amount of phone calls or emails or meeting or intentionality that we have put and positioned ourselves in place for when it comes to building out these relationships, and they can be knocked down in less than 5 minutes. I'm not willing to risk that either. Even for people that I love, and I've been just like you, Patty, I felt bad too. But then again, you have to really sit with it that I want to see them grow, but also do I have to be the holder of that key to their growth? Sometimes that's okay. And if you don't feel comfortable with it, I'm just more honest nowadays. I don't feel comfortable giving you their email, but I
Mm,
can hook you with their assistant. And if you can work your way to that person, then by all means, you have done the work and you have done it by yourself. And it's also like an empowerment thing too. It's empowering for them to realize like, wow, they built their own relationship outside of me, versus it just only being held together because I'm at the center of it. There's nothing to feel bad about. You've done your part in it. And your job originally was just to make sure that you built that relationship. Now it's their job to finish the rest. So thank you for being honest about that. I was scared to ask that question, but I was like, no, we need to talk about it. We need to
That's
talk
all
about it.
yeah.
So just wrapping up before our quick fire, what are some actual tangible resources, whether that's a conference, whether it's an event, whether it's a social media account that people should follow? Of course, Network While Black. What are some things that you guys already noticed that could support people when it comes to networking, both in real life as well as online?
Mm, okay. So I used to always like, pull people aside to the corner. Soho House actually has a fellowship.
Mm.
For I started off as a Soho House fellow. And can y'all hear the sirens in the background?
Nope.
Okay. I started off as a Soho House fellow, and they have it's what is it? It's a free year.
Yep.
Oh.
Plus you get and then after your year, then it's 2 years half off, which is
Mm.
great. So definitely a resource. Soho House, that's how I was able to get started with my different events. Because I didn't know anything about doing any type of events, but as a Soho House member, you
Wow.
get to what is it? You get to host events for free. So that's one. Definitely follow Network All Black.
Plug.
Miss out. Don't miss out. What is another one? Y'all gonna think I'm an ambassador for LinkedIn. But please, if you don't have a LinkedIn account, I need you to get on LinkedIn. It's not just like, the stuffy businesses. I was a LinkedIn creator for years. They actually want you to be on LinkedIn. You get influencers, you can get paid deals on LinkedIn. So definitely, please get a LinkedIn. And don't just leave it blank either. And put a profile picture up, please. Put a profile picture
Please.
up. Get your nice little bio. Put your experience down there and get to work. Okay? Start DMing. They gonna answer back. So those are my tips. Go ahead.
Perfect.
I love it. I love it. I actually I did the mentors for the fellowship in Soho House. So I think like that, yeah, I think 2 years ago, I forgot what to her point what it's called, but they've built that out pretty extensively. And It's I mean it's great. I think Soho House is great. I don't know where everyone lives, but if you obviously live in a city where there's different Soho houses, I would definitely look into that. And then in the New Yorks, LA, and Miamis of the world, they have different versions of Soho, of different members clubs. Um, and all different price points, I would argue. So just trying to find where like-minded people are congregating. For me, it was always sport. It was always like the biggest, like the next basketball game or the next baseball game. You were gonna find it people that worked in the industry there. So
Yeah.
just kind of figuring out what that is for your world. Like where are they congregating? Obviously, finance is one spot versus
Mhm.
maybe like fashion people are in another spot. Um, I would kind of do some little market research in your city. Face to face for me is always like I could sell ice to an Eskimo face to face. Like I could do
Oh,
it,
that's dope.
And so I would hone in on your strength and your skill. And then, like she said, like I think online presence, having a digital footprint so people know you're real. I
Yeah.
have my name, like domain, pattylore.com. Like I've had that purchase since I was like 17, brand yourself in the best of your capacity. There's so many like free websites now, free logos. To her point, put your photo on LinkedIn. I can't tell you how many times I've hired people from LinkedIn, and then how many times I'm sure well-meaning, great candidates have DM'd me, but they had no profile photo. So I couldn't even determine in the world of AI if you're like a real person or not.
Mhm.
And I'm sure they were, but I wasn't about to do that digging. Just make the profile, have a digital footprint, and then figure out a way to have a footprint in real life in your industry.
I love that. And I would definitely agree. I'm gonna throw in some that I found helpful. I would have said Facebook, but
Oh,
you're not gonna
girl.
judge me. You're not gonna judge me. Okay, okay. So I will definitely include going back to what Patty said about doing market research. I live in a small town, even though we're the capital. And what I found a lot of the times, if you just Google your coffee shop will have an event.
Hmm.
Mhm.
I'm a bookie. I'm a book person. It's just it's, the beds, right? If you look up any book club, that's also something. If you guys hashtag, you'd be very surprised what a hashtag has the power to do. I use that to find a good little, hairstylist to retwist my lock. Like you could find so much if you hashtag and find those small things. CultureCon is like incredibly powerful for entrepreneurs and creatives. Afrotech, plug. Essence Festival, plug. Incredible events. Yes, it's a lot of people, but you meet such incredible, like-minded people. Try to always position yourself with people, whether that's a career that you want, but then also just why don't you go to things for fun, just for fun? Or if you sign up for a random class, I signed up for pottery. I don't ever plan on like selling that, but I've met so many incredible people that have become people that I hang out with outside of pottery. So try a class, try a hashtag. There are a variety of different ways. I've never been to a Soho House. I would love to go now. Um,
Coming.
but there's so many amazing different opportunities you can find in your city. Let's just find a way to allow them to find you too. Or ask, just ask. Throw it on LinkedIn. Once again.
I also want to, like, you made a great point there that sometimes just doing things for fun will sharpen your skills when it comes to business networking, let's call it, Sometimes even like that practice of like getting out of your bed and just meeting someone in pottery and saying, "Hi, I'm Patty. I'm from Miami and I'm new here," is the practice that you need and the skills that are going to set you up, maybe 2 years later because you've been practicing that intro. Um, I think that is also very, especially in your 20s, very underrated. And especially, they always compare generations. I'm not gonna like age myself, but that is also a competitive advantage, I think, in your age. Understanding, if you're 22 years old and all your peers are online, I do think online, like I said, my advice is build a digital footprint. It's important, but create that competitive advantage. And again, it might be the athlete in me, but know that if you are honing in on your interpersonal skills, that will always be something that benefits you, regardless of your career success. And that would always be beneficial for you.
Beautiful. I think personal success can also blend in and move over and transition into your professional success. And you never know. You may transfer some of those relationships, like meeting a lawyer. You never know.
There you go.
Perfect, ladies. This is a great way to transition into our fire chat. The fire chat is dedicated to people who are either starting out or starting over. And based on your experience, I have amazing questions for you. Are you ready?
All right.
Yes. Okay, cool. So, Nyasia, you were up first. How do you believe having access to the right people and environments can impact one's career as well as their mindset?
Oh, it impacts it tremendously. And tremendously. I'll say that the right resources early on, the right mentor, the right sponsor can take you so much further than trying to do it by yourself. I'll also say that it's really not about what you know, it is who you know, unfortunately. And the right, get yourself a mentor, a good one.
Yeah.
Get you a good mentor, someone that's really going to, invest in you. Say
Mhm.
your name in different rooms that you haven't had access to yet. Someone that is really going to speak life into you. Especially in your early 20s, mid 20s, hell, late 20s. We a lot of times we suffer with imposter syndrome, or we don't know how to do this, or well, maybe if we could get through this door, then we'll have the right opportunities. Mentorship,
Mm-hmm.
sponsorship, like just getting your name called in different rooms can be the differentiator in your career. So that's extremely important. Don't let anybody tell you differently. It's about who you know. Yeah.
It's like that. I totally agree. All right, Patty, your company is such a forward-facing public entity, and that requires a lot of seeing each other and interacting in person. Someone asked, after being in one position for several years remote, how do they actually network post-pandemic? They're figuring out how to get their group back.
Ooh, I love this question. Um, how to get your groove back post-pandemic? I think for me, I would start small and kind of like it's kind of full circle to how is that start a very small goal. And because what you don't want to do is I'm gonna meet, I'm gonna go out 18 times this month, and then you only go out, five, which is great, but you feel like you failed. So set, tangible, like, starter goals. If right now you're doing zero, start with two. It's almost like I relate this question to going back to the gym. Like I love fitness, but I've always been on and off, just because life be lifing.
Mhm.
And when I want to set myself up, the truth of the matter is I'm not going, 5 days a week as this season of my life. So I need to be okay with going twice. Like I just need that, and that is an A+ score for me. I think, getting back into the groove of anything, you just have grace with yourself and set small goals, and then you build on that for sure.
Perfect. So this is for both of you guys. You just went to some kind of event or something in general, and you made a wonderful connection. What is some advice for actually following up? How long do you wait? Do you reach out personally? Do you wait for them to reach out to you? What advice do you guys have?
I would say you don't have to wait, especially if you had a really good conversation. I just went to Sensory's well, they had like a 1 year launch event, and I connected with this really nice chef. And as soon as I got home, I got a DM from her. She was like, "Love to meet you. This was, a great conversation." I was like, "Yes." You don't have to wait. Like it's not, the dating rule, like, oh, you gotta wait 2 days. You don't have to do that. It really all depends on what you're feeling and how the conversation, how the vibe went. But I would say do it while it's still fresh on both of your minds, because say for instance you meet someone on Friday and then you reach out to them on Tuesday, it's like, oh, yeah, yeah, that was cool. But if you reach out to them on Saturday or Friday night, yes, it was great meeting you too. It's still fresh in their mind. Put the
Yeah.
pride away. Put the pride aside. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, guys. I mean, I love how you close. Like the pride is not necessary. It's just not needed, especially when like we're all trying to build here and connect.
Mhm.
And everyone wants that connection. Like we all want to go out on a Friday night, meet a girl that we hit it off with and that we could possibly build and work with. We want to hear from her.
Right.
So I would say, yeah, I would, even at where I'm at in my career, I still have to remember to do this. I took a business course recently, and I loved the professor. That he like said bye. We took a group photo, and I don't think he exited out LaGuardia College. I was in his LinkedIn DMing him. I was like, I know you just said bye, but hi.
Hi, yeah.
I'm here.
I'm back, you know? Because I understood like once he got home or once the next day he opened his laptop and he opened his LinkedIn, bah, he was gonna see Patty Laura. And
Hmm.
I don't think that ever goes away. We're always trying to reinvent, to build, to understand. We naturally always move the goalpost, even once we hit a goal, there's always a new one. And so, yeah, being as proactive, and I think that is, if anything, refreshing to people.
I think it is too. A good amount of time in between. Like it makes you feel like, wow, like they're actually thinking about me. I love that part. And lastly, what do you want people to walk away with knowing about what it actually takes to ask for what you want, but also the opportunity on the other side of that fear that's holding you back?
So this is gonna sound really corny, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I remember um I was an intern and I was looking for different jobs and I was working at Net-a-Porter and one of the stylists said, "You can't cross the ocean just by looking at it." And I
Oh,
was like, "Hmm." Because
Okay.
I was sitting here complaining, nobody is hiring me. And I'm thinking, since I have y'all on my resume, I'm supposed to, like, the doors are supposed to open. And she was like, Naisha, you can't cross the ocean just by looking at it. At first, I took offense. I'm like, what you trying to say? But I will say that, basically it's kind of like closed mouths don't get fed.
Mm,
You have to put yourself out there.
yeah.
Like we said, you can't be afraid of rejection. It's gonna come. Rejection is going to come. I want to put that out there. Everything is not going to be a yes,
Mm,
unfortunately.
yep.
You're gonna get a lot of no's, but you're gonna ask for something, and one day you are gonna get it.
Mm,
However, closed mouths don't get fed. If you don't ask, it's not gonna come.
yeah.
So that's my little tidbit.
I like that. That
Yeah.
was good. That was a word.
That was a word. That was amazing. Um, for me, it's kind of I would encourage everyone here, and again, like, I'm a big community person. I would encourage everyone here to like write down their fears and then tackle them one by one. And not just, that's probably a tactical kind of exercise, but another takeaway is to build your community of expanders. So for my one example of that is in the beginning of my business, let's say I would send an invoice for $1,000. I would like dance and go crazy. Like that's a lot of money. Like for, period. I mean, it still is a lot of money, but it's a lot of money for someone that was just starting. And then I got people around me that were very comfortable talking about bigger and larger numbers. And so with time, I got comfortable
Mm,
sending invoices of bigger and larger numbers. And then I remember first sending my like largest invoice and then I went to the bathroom and had a moment, right? And then eventually, like, that expanded me and I got to a bigger number than that. I think just having your community of expanders, it's really easy to get complacent in a way and to get comfortable. But how could that's what the Soho houses of the world are, to her point. That's what LinkedIn is. When you see people achieving that and you're like, okay, I could do that too. I could do this. It's kind of like expose yourself, but then get really detailed and self-aware of how are you holding yourself back. And I think writing down your fears, at least for me, has always been a great practice because typically if you could get over that one fear, it'll lead to a bunch of opportunities and give you the energy you need to get over the next fear.
I agree. Come on now.
Okay, she's smart crossing the ocean, crossing the ocean with you. Okay, I kind of wonder what that bigger number was now that she
Mm,
mentioned it. You know, went from 1,000 to what, 5, 10, 15?
mm.
Great job, ladies. This has been such an impactful conversation. You guys did wonderful with your experience and sharing things that are foundational to people's opportunity and growing and networking in different niches, sure, but also networking across in general. I want to thank you guys for joining us today and for sharing your experience. We have so many people who are going to walk away with such amazing advice to adapt into their everyday life. Can you share with the audience how they can stay in contact with you?
Absolutely. You can find me on Instagram, Nyasia.Rudolph, and Network While Black. Definitely follow us at Network While Black. And my LinkedIn is also my name, Nyasia Rudolph. Come on through. Use your LinkedIn.
Hello.
Love that.
DM her right now.
I love that. Same. My Instagram is Laura underscore, and then my LinkedIn just Patty Laura. And then I kind of put it out there. I have my domain, pattylora.com, that has all my contact information there too. If you guys want to learn more about Crew. And I just want to say before I forget, Imani, thank you for this platform and what you're building. I think I'm so proud of you. It's just such a cool idea and concept and your whole story. So also thank you for giving us the opportunity.
Yes, Imani. This was, girl, you inspiring me.
Right, right.
Listen, this is
Thank
finale
you.
night. I'm already on like a high edge of emotion. Okay. Okay.
Go,
This
girl.
6 months of working hard, you guys did phenomenal, and I really appreciate you. And just to offer inspiration to the audience, I DM them, just so we're clear. Okay.
She
I did
did.
not know them. I did watch their journeys, and I was just thinking when I created this actual segment, I was like, who do I want? Boom, emailed. Okay. And they could have told me no, they could have rejected me. I'd have been hurt. But they did not. They were like, yeah, I'm down. What's up? What do you need from me? So, this is an example and a reflection of putting forth that effort. And I just thank you guys so much. And I'm so excited to continue our future networking and collaboration experiences. Did you see how I just did that too? How I just like said I'm gonna
Come
continue.
on, segue. Yes.
You understand what I'm saying? You get it. You get it. Thank you, ladies, so much. I will meet you guys backstage.
All right.
Bye,
Thank you,
everyone.
everybody.